Well, I suppose we were not quite the good luck talisman that I've purported us to be.
No, it rubs off, right? Like it's not in perpetuity. You gotta make basic baseball decisions along the way. But we did our part. What else could we do?
Welcome in everybody to another episode of the 24 Curveballs Podcast. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Aaron. That's Jason in the middle, Kevin on the end, and I guess you could just say it's us and Tucker doing our part, and nobody else seems to give a rip.
Yeah. That's the thing. The trope I keep coming back to was, it was mental at the end of last year.
Right.
I saw a stat today. Over our last 162 games, we're a sub 500 baseball team. It was mental last year, and amid all of the Dusty kerfuffle, we lost sight of we were just a bunch of crazy people on our team, and we didn't address anything. And then you throw a rash of injuries in that, and
Well, and I know we've talked a lot about the injuries, not just us, but I think a lot of Astros fans. There hasn't been enough talk, I think, about the impact of Kendall Graveman, another bullpen arm just to absorb innings. And before we get into the show, I noticed something today. It's something I've been trying to put my finger on when I just have been so frustrated about our offense. But you've got a struggling offense, and you've got pitchers who have to work quicker because of the time clock. And we're asking a lot of our starters right now. And I noticed today, so the guy who came in relief today, so this was the Thursday daytime Astros game, he came in, and over the course of 2 innings, he threw 13 pitches and got 6 outs. And so to me, I'm like, okay, so we're not working counts. We're not situationally aware. That's the thing that when people have asked all year long what my hatred for Espada, or when I said Snicker or Centrone, somebody needs to get canned. That's the anecdote for me that proves it. Like, how is your hitting coach not pulling a guy over when your pitchers are overworked and saying, "Hey, I need you to take a couple"?
Yeah. There's no approach. There's no sense of, even the sudden insertion of Abreu and the biggest series of the year against the best staff in baseball, right? Like, there just doesn't seem to be any sense of, hey, this is where we are. Even with Dusty last year, I thought he was crazy, but he said what he was going to do. He said, everybody plays on my team. There's none of that here that I sense.
Get into some of that later when we talk about the approach with Chaz, which I has not understood, but let's react to the week as week overall. So went on the road trip. We went 3-4 on the road trip, 2-1 in Oakland, 1-3 in Seattle. After last night's debilitating loss, Chandler Rome had this to tweet. He said, allegedly.
What do we call it? Post? It has to be post because it's on X, but it'll always be tweet along with Twitter.
He says the Astros lost 2-1. They are 24-32. And then it said Houston struck out a season high 14 times, and they are now 5-12 and 1-run games this season. Verlander was terrific, which he was, and the Astros have lost 6 of 9. There's not a thing that makes me happy except for the Verlander number and that whole post.
Well, the thing is, Verlander's going to start. Verlander's chasing 300. If there's not something, he's going elsewhere.
He needs the wins. I mean, he needs them in a hurry because he doesn't have that many games left. And but let's just Hunter Brown threw an excellent game that we wasted, and then Verlander threw an excellent game that we wasted.
To that point, here is Brian McTaggart. The Astros have gotten 3 quality starts in Seattle from their pitchers. This was after last night's game, so all 3 losses, but have lost all 3 games. Offensively, Houston is 18 for 100 in the series with only 2 extra base hits, 33 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Let those numbers rest on you, boys.
Boy, that hurts.
33 strikeouts and 4 walks. Now
18 for 100.
Seattle's got a staff.
They do, but they also only have a negative run differential. Like,
because
you can have the stat,
right.
but it only takes 2 runs to beat them.
Yeah, and we score 1 time, 1 inning. Yeah,
no. Well, and then we finally do last night, and
Presley
lugs his gas can out to the mound. Yeah. We had such good energy last week, and look at how sad we are tonight.
The thing is, it's mind-boggling, right?
Like we played Oakland and we play Seattle. When you're playing in the division, man, you've got to go out on the field like you're fighting for your life.
Do you remember we talked last week? We said the Astros are on a hot streak. Imagine finally feeling like it's clicking. Imagine the morale of that team when your coach says, hey, we're bringing back both of the problems. So this was a post that I found last night. So the Astros were 12-5 in their last 17 games. Then Jose Abreu rejoined the clubhouse 0-3. I'll lump Chaz in with that as well. Mm-hmm. It breaks up your offensive rhythm. And I guess the question I have, and maybe you guys have an answer, but like this was such a big series. We come into this series 3.5 games out of first place. So it is conceivable that we're a half game up at the end of a 4-game series. Why is this the moment to reinsert Abreu? You've got our stretch of baseball coming up. We go we go home for the Twins, but then we've got the Cardinals who are struggling, the Angels, the Giants, the Tigers, and the White Sox. Why not on that run?
Yeah.
Right. When you've ripped 4 or 5 in a row up, I don't know. Why now? Like you get that the way that Abreu's contract is structured, he can pull the string at any time, right? Like he can just reject the assignment and go do whatever he wants. But so there had to be some urgency on the timeline, but he wasn't performing at either of his previous stops. So
I'm going to play a clip from Dana, and he's going to say in it, well, he hit 300. I'm like, in 9 at bats, dude. That's not.
Yeah, in the Florida Coast League, like like those guys are sub-single A, like that's and the thing, and I keep hearing that stuff from Dana, which is patently absurd, and no, it's like when Joe Espada said, "Look at the back of the baseball card," right? Like
I don't want to look at the back of the baseball card.
Nobody in the world bought that, so I'm looking at, and it really is like it's like Jim, Jeff, and Reggie are Oz, and Dana is like the dancing puppet or whatever, like, hey, don't look over there. And we're just getting fed this line. And there's this weird, whereas the picture before in the championship days was organizational fitness and wellness, even a little bit of they were cheaters, right? But there was that button down organization. Now it is like a hillbilly wedding, man. And it's gross. And it's gross.
For anybody who missed it, these are Dana's comments yesterday on 790 out of Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more so, he's a veteran. You're hoping that he turns the corner. We had him down in Florida. He was hitting over 300, with over a 900 OPS. We had him there for multiple weeks. And so you want to give this veteran guy the opportunity to see if he can turn the corner. And if he can't turn the corner, then we're going to have to deal with it. I think we have a ton of games left in this season. So
not enough.
107 games left. But we need to figure out. Look, is this guy going to be a guy? Is he going to be a guy that can turn the corner, can get hot? You thought when he went 1 for 3 in the first game with an RBI, hey, maybe he's going to turn the corner. Last night was a little bit more difficult, and so it's definitely a Joe Espada question. But as we move forward, we know that if he doesn't get hot, we're going to have to make a decision.
So Joe Espada's making these calls, huh? This is Joe Espada was rushing him back.
You know what the subtweet on that is? They're getting real close to firing Joe Espada.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't hang your manager out like that if you're committed to him, dude.
We can only hope.
See, that's the kind of garbage I'm talking about, right? Like, can you imagine that with Click or with
remember Jeff Luno's press conferences? Dude was so vague and likable.
I know.
Dude, if I'm Jim Crane after the 4 years that we've taken, right? Nah, man, F all y'all. I'm hiring Jeff Luhnow. I'm going to his house. I'm telling him on national TV, Jeffy, I was wrong. Forgive me. Let's run it back.
Yep. Hey, and I would also be like, hey, as part of your contract, like, let's not cheat, okay? Like, we'll contractually say we're not going to be cheaters. And guess what? They'll still boo us.
To be honest, dude, I mean, I know that he, like a good leader, he admitted that he had knowledge of it and was willing to take the fall. But how often is your GM in dugouts during the game? So anything that he heard or anything that he knew, he's getting third hand from guys while he's up in his booth. And so I thought the firing of him was an overreaction. I thought for sure you fire Hinch because
he's in the dugout. Yeah.
Right. But if your general manager's in your dugout during games, you're doing it wrong anyway. And so, yeah, I'd bring Luhnow back. I'd just be like, screw y'all.
He would never.
What if he's like, I'll do it for a 30% ownership stake.
Yeah. And Jeff Bagwell doesn't get to be anywhere near. If he gets more than 8 feet away from Biggio behind home plate, nope, we shock him, put a shot collar on.
Biggio goes back to the to the Space City Network booth.
Dude, it's such a drag the way that Bagwell has been. Like I'm done with one of our 2 Hall of Famers. I'm done with him.
The whole deal. It went exactly as we said it would go. When we heard he was going back, we obviously weren't on the air, but we were talking about it in our text, and it was just like the offense is going to sputter. You're stacking too many outs. It's just going to go away, and there we were. I'm equally befuddled by what we're doing with Chaz. It's like we brought him back. He's not performing. We're not starting him every day, so we're not even giving him consistent enough ABs to refine his rhythm. He's like in one day, he's out one day. He's in left field, he's in right field. He's all over the like. What are we?
Not even that. But Joey was playing so well.
Yeah,
he still is, by the way.
Yeah, in AAA. Yeah,
it's not just that we brought Chaz
have you seen
back,
the numbers Corey Julks is putting up right now in Chicago?
It's not like Chaz being gone left us with a hole. We had somebody come in and outperform what Chaz was doing, and then we subbed him back.
We're better.
We switched him back out, and we're you see where we are.
Jake Myers is to me
better.
Like, as much as I've said, like, there are no players more different than 2023 Jeremy Pena and 2024 Jeremy Pena. And with all of that said, the resurgence of Jake is the delightful surprise of the year. And we're risking that for Chaz, right? For Chaz, who I kind of, right, like, he's got the big World Series moment, which is legendary forever. But I kind of get a sense that he's a little bit that guy in the clubhouse that's just annoying and obnoxious, right? And he doesn't have the numbers to justify being there. And every at-bat he gets, Jake or Doobie or Joey isn't getting.
Well,
and that doesn't make sense to me.
He did something in the game last night, I think, that I don't know. It probably seems minor and like I'm nitpicking on the guy, but it's a ball in left center field. He goes... So he's going, Jake's coming. He calls Jake off. He catches the ball, throws it back in. The camera pans back out to him, and he does this like he's doing like a calm down thing to Jake because Jake's real hyper. And I had the same thought in that moment. I'm like, this dude is an asshat in the clubhouse. Anybody named Chaz has to be.
I'd be willing to bet you
part of that. No offense to all of our
bet you money that Chaz has a picture of his print in the dirt after his catch from the World Series.
Oh, for
sure. In his locker. It's in his locker.
For sure.
It may have his vehicle wrapped with it. It's like the hood art on his family car.
I mean, he just feels to me like a 99 Honda Civic guy.
Chaz I've got Chaz last 7 games, 10 plate appearances. He's got a negative, is that a 49? Negative 49 weighted runs created.
That's not good.
No. He's got a 200 OPS also not good.
That means he's got 2 singles. Is he 2 for 10?
Yeah, he's averages 100.
So 100 hit is a double.
100 on base percentage, 100 slugging.
Dude, how can you pass that up?
And this is the deal. Like, if your hope is to trade him, well, let him get some monster AAA numbers, not failure at the highest level. Who's convinced now that they need Chaz? And here's the thing: we didn't need Chaz. We don't need him.
No,
We've
not only not need him, we were quantifiably better without him.
Yeah, so option him and leave him there, just like you're leaving Joey Loperfido right there, right? If someone's got to languish in AAA, why not Chaz? Why is he the one that we got to pick up?
I would be curious to go and look at the Phillies. How many different lineups have the Phillies run out? How many different outfield alignments have the Phillies run out this year? How many different outfield alignments have the Yankees run out this year? How many different outfield alignments before Acuna, which can we just – I know it's an Astros podcast, but what a horrific – God, my heart breaks for that dude.
Yeah.
That's the second time on an ACL, man. His speed game may never return, you know?
That's one of those guys that you'll talk about, right? Like, cause he'll come back and he'll be 70%, but there'll be video of him doing just the freaky things, right? And being
if he comes back and does freaky things, it'll always be. I mean, like, think about Mickey Mantle. Like, he did freaky things, but you're always like, what if Joe DiMaggio
Junior Griffey, right?
Hadn't made him step on that sprinkler head, right? What if Junior would have? Yeah, he's going to definitely be one of those guys. But I just feel like the best teams in baseball don't have 5 outfielders that they platoon.
Yeah,
that's right. I'll go again and say Jordan's insistence on playing defense doesn't help us.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
doesn't.
It's not. And you can say, and again, so I haven't looked at the numbers. I don't know. Maybe the numbers say he's viable defensively, but I'm saying if you've got Joey Loperfido in center and Jake Myers in right and Jordan DHing, where's that weak? Why do we have to mix in? Now you really can say we don't have a place for Dubon. Look how deep we are there. But as it is, dude, you just got 5
I would feel differently if Jordan was a center fielder because he does have an absolute cannon.
Yeah, he does.
But I don't need him in left field.
Yeah.
I don't know why there hasn't been more of an effort to make him a first baseman.
So
we've got him
apparently
locked up.
I saw photographic evidence. Like, apparently that was an effort at one time that was abandoned. And I think like it was probably abandoned more in the healthy years, maybe. So
but if you can be
better than Jose Abreu, been?
But I know, dude. If you can play major league left field, you can adapt. I mean, you can adapt to first base. The Big Puma did it. You're telling me Lance Berkman is more athletic than Jordan Alvarez?
That's true.
Lance Berkman doesn't think Lance Berkman is more athletic than Jordan. No, and I love Lance. In case he's listening,
you're 100% on that.
Yeah, Lance, if you're listening, call the show. Yeah. Call in, bro. Yeah. We want you.
We don't actually have a number, but find us. Yeah. Give him the Berkman hotline. Another thing, and I hope that he'll leave it alone. Now, we did the whole deal where we let Bregman get white hot, and then we moved him back to the 4-hole and left him there, and he went ice cold again.
Yeah.
But now they're moving back to the 5-hole, and he's 4 for 6. He had 2 hits today. He had a home run and a triple.
Bregman's a 5-6 hitter. He's a 5 or 6 hole hitter.
Yeah. He hit 2. Was it at 20? It may have been the 2019 team. He hit 2 and he destroyed it. Cleanups is a mental thing, maybe, like it just a unique kind of pressure. But lower in the order, especially if you've got Jake Myers, or if Yiner ever gets hot again, or Victor Caratini, you got guys behind him to pick him up, but keep him out of cleanup.
Hey, we owe
demonstrated failure.
We owe Jeremy Pena an apology. I think we jinxed him.
Oof.
We talked about how good that dude is, and he started chasing sliders right away.
It's like he listened.
He's like, you're not saying that about me.
Yeah, I can chase spiders if I want to.
So, yeah.
Boy, did he.
You're not the boss of me. Thanks. That's good, Pena.
Boy, did he.
But we're about to find out whether the changes he made are stable or not. And sometimes they are. It's been, I mean, the question is, are they grooved, right? Like, is he going to be able to get quickly back to that feeling, whatever that allowed him to...
And over the course of any season, you go through periods where it looks like a cantaloupe coming in, and that's apparently been the start of the season for him. And then you slow down. That's the challenge with our roster right now is we need Tucker and Pena to be hot, or we don't win games, and that's not sustainable. Those guys they're gonna cool off.
Well, you can't expect to win many games if it's only on two guys.
Oh, for sure.
Of course.
Some positives. Spencer Arrighetti has been really good in his last two starts. Spot. So he went. He started in Oakland. Went 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Then today went 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts on 2 hits.
So steady, right? Like that was kind of always the thing, right? Kind of a slow heartbeat guy, doesn't get, is not going to get rattled, but just fills it up, which is, dude, well, I guess 8 strikeouts today, you said?
Yeah, 15 strikeouts over his last 2 starts. If I'd have told you at the start of the year, listen, you're going to get JV, and then your 2-3 are going to be Ronel Blanco and Spencer Arrighetti.
Yeah.
Framber's your 5.
Yeah. I would expect us to be about 15 and 25, maybe.
Yeah.
Listen, though, I was watching last night. Hold on a second. I was thinking last night, talking about JV and the leader and that dude. I feel bad for him because that dude's competitive thing, like just on his face, like you're watching him grind it out, and every pitch he's just going at it, and everyone else is just not. How is that not infectious on a team that's won championships?
Do you remember the Game 7 of the 2017 World Series in L.A.?
Mm-hmm.
He had gone back to the clubhouse, which is not a short walk at Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
When the Astros started to give runs back, he walked back to the dugout, came up, and there's video of him sticking his head up into the dugout and yelling, "Hey, get your shit together." And I'm like, see, that's the leader we need.
Yeah. And so this year we've just decided, like, hey, we're fine. I don't get it.
Yeah, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to lose their job unless they turn it around quick.
Now, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I would DFA Abreu on the ride home.
Yeah. But because he got 1 for 3, and because, he got 2 hits over, 4 games, they're not going to.
Here's the deal, though. That's what it takes. Somebody's going to have to be the grown-up in a room and stand at a microphone and just go, getting a hit today doesn't mean he's back. We never said that he's never going to hit again for the rest of his entire life. We never said he's never going to have an exit velo of 100. No, he's going to do all of that 1 out of 10 times. We want more than that. And for the one time that he does do it, he's going to kick 4 ground balls. And sure, I hope the guy goes somewhere else and is an MVP. He's not here, and I'm trying to win ball games here and now. And so my thing is, I start going, I know nothing about salary caps and contracts and all that. And so, like, if we DFA'd, we still have to carry all that salary, right?
Unless he signs elsewhere, and then we split it.
Well,
okay. So that's the thing where I just go, are we even financially positioned to rebuild? If we just say, hey, we're sellers right now, and we're showing everybody off. Is this a 3-year hole that we're getting out of?
It'd be this year plus 1, right?
I mean, Abreu just played 3 games. He went 2 for 10 with 5 strikeouts.
I was going to say 2 for 12, but
2 for 10 with 5 strikeouts.
5 strikeouts.
And the strikeouts didn't even look close. It wasn't like they were good at bats.
And again, the inescapable thing, whatever Dana and Joey and whatever want to say, is like, we've decided that's okay. Yep. The Cowboys have decided, hey, we're going to be 8 and 9. Or maybe even, hey, we'll go We'll win the regular season, whatever, but we're okay with being first, exit. We're okay with that. 2 for 10. That's fine. That's fine.
Makes me so angry, though.
It makes me angry for Altuve, right? Like, I watched that little dude that just signed that big contract, and he's walking out, and he's not hot either, but why would you be hot if you're Altuve? Because they can just throw around you. They can give you. No, I'm not going to defend Altuve because he looks like crap. So
he does look like crap.
He looks like crap, but he's still hit at 292 for the year.
Yeah, because he was turned. And listen, you're allowed to have a couple of crappy weeks, right? But eventually, someone in the organization has to go. I'm not going to keep tanking the lineup with Abreu and Yainer and Abreu and did I say him twice?
Here's the difference. Here's the difference between Abreu and this magnifies what Abreu is. Yordan Alvarez is inarguably having the worst chunk of baseball in his life.
And now he's competing with Ricky Henderson, and he's trying to get all these stolen bases.
Yeah, he did steal 3 bases this week.
He's legging it, baby. Go! I know it. That's so great. What did you say? He's hitting 270?
Yeah. The worst we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
273, and his OPS is 797.
And how many bombs?
Home runs for him this year is
8 or 10? 9, yeah. Jeez. Get off the struggle bus, bro.
Yeah, he's
Look,
I don't think Correa ever had
a reason
numbers.
for Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve to be tied in home runs.
That's true.
No. So after having a couple of good outings, Ryan Presley has been less good. I got more. Here's Dana on Presley again on AM 790.
Yeah, I don't think it's a confidence thing. He may have felt like
the host asked Dana if he thought moving Ryan Presley back to the 8th inning wounded his confidence, which I'm so exhausted by because Presley sucked the second half of last season, had some good moments in the playoff, and so that's what Dana is answering. Is his confidence shattered?
Like it was a demotion, I'm sure. You go from closing to setting up, but I think Ryan Presley's a professional. He's been really good for this organization. He's been outstanding in the postseason. And so I just think he's going through a tough time right now. And, these things happen, particularly when you've been so good for so long. At some point, you're going to hit a cold streak. And it just so happens that he hit this cold streak this year. I think, he had moments where he looked like he was climbing out of it. And he threw well multiple times in a row. And so I would expect that Presley will get back to himself and help us close out those games toward the end.
2 things that jump out at me. One, I don't know that I've ever heard a more diplomatic way to say some guys just get old.
Thanks. Hats off.
And one thing I will give Dana is he is more honest. Like Click and Lunau are always very guarded. He's not afraid. Sometimes I think it concerns me, but he's not afraid to say, "Yeah, I think that guy sucks right now."
Yeah, I mean, okay. The last 2 seasons, Presley his ERA was 2.98 and 3.58 the last 2 years, and this year he's at 5.06.
But you remember even the 3.98 or whatever it was last year. That was built on the strength of a really strong first half. Do you remember how uncomfortable we all were second half every time he got the rock?
Yep. And it's the same thing now, right? Like just every outing, there's a walk, there's a double, and he usually pitches out of it or usually finds a way, but increasingly you're not going to be able to do that. And I think that's what it is. He just doesn't have the stuff.
He seems to be like his curveball doesn't seem as sharp. And I don't know if it's because he's lost velo on his fastball, but the changeup isn't playing like it has in the past.
When the fastball looks more like a changeup, you got to really, really change up the changeup.
I know I know it sounds like only 3 miles an hour, but when your average fastball velocity drops from 97 to 94 at the big league level, that's a big deal.
A lot. Yeah. Well, you just start to go, right, like it happens for a reason. And it may be just deterioration, which, like, yeah, I get it. It's like, but again, like, this comes back to the whole thing, right? Like, we're okay with it. For why? Because I don't know, right? And that's the thing, like, because, man, he's got some great memories. Give him a friggin' plaque, dude. And again, or hey, we're going to be the place that, man, we're going to babysit. But if we're going to do that, if we're going to babysit memories, why is Yuli on the bench or got a AAA contract somewhere? Why don't we, if we're just going to be nice guys and keep the band together, let's at least get the right guys in the dugout. And I'm not advocating for Yuli. I'm advocating for freaking winning. And eventually, but again,
you're saying we made the right decision with Yuli. Let's now make the right decision with these other guys.
Yes. My question would be whether the sample size for Presley warrants that. It certainly, for me, would warrant at least a move down to the 7th.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? Or something like that.
Okay.
Especially more time the year that Abreu is having.
2 runs in the – did he give up 2 runs in the Seattle series? 3 runs. Okay, so that put him just ahead. Now he is just ahead of Belak. That's not the group you want to be mentioned in.
Yeah. Dude, how good would you feel about Taylor Scott, right? Or Taylor Scott, Brian Abreu, and Josh Hader, right? Like, give me Seth Martinez, give me Taylor Scott. Those guys go out and quietly just get it done. Dude. And guess what? They don't have Enter Sandman playing over the PA system for them either.
Yeah, Taylor Presley. Scott, man, he's 1.63 ERA. He's only given up 7 runs, and only 5 of those were earned all year.
Yep.
Jason,
and your sample size early.
Your sample size question: he's pitched about a third of the innings that he did last year. Last year he pitched 65.1. This year he's at 20.1. Some of the advanced pitching metrics: he's 318 batting average against, which is by almost 100 points the highest of his career.
Yeah.
362 on base percentage against, again, by about 100 points, the highest of his career. 494 slugging, over 100 points, the highest of his career. 856 OPS. So he's just If
we'll move guys around the batting order on a whim, why is the eighth inning sacred to Ryan Presley? Why can we not just go, hey, no, it's more important actually that we get the next 3 guys out than – because we're okay. We're fine. This is fine. This is what being an Astro in 2024 is. Like, we're going to let them all work through it. We're going to let a bunch of old guys with minimal years on their baseball life left, we're going to let them work through problems while Joey Loperfido wins a bunch of AAA batting accolades.
What happened, dude? Can you imagine if Joey gets hurt?
Yeah,
in AAA.
He wound in the head, right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't you put that even on me, Ricky Bobby.
But that's a risk you're taking.
Of course.
And I mean, that kid.
Yeah.
So Chaz can hit 200 with his 200 OPS.
Chaz, who went 0 for 7 against the AA San Antonio Missions.
So again, like, Chaz wasn't good enough to start full-time last year. The constant platoon, the constant back and forth. He was part of the year. He was mediocre at best. So now it literally is like, well, he fell down that one time, and there was the little dirt thing, a picture from above. Woo, go Astros! Y'all remember? Oh, dumb.
Yeah. Someday we can. You know what we can do? Remember. Okay, here's my comp for Chaz. Remember Chris Burke in the 18th inning hitting the bomb to walk off the Braves in the postseason?
Yes.
You know what we did for Chris Burke? We invite him back to the all-timers home run derby every year.
Yep. Let him wear his jersey, right? His brick red jersey. Play the video. Give him a baseball. Yeah.
Talk about what a moment that was. That needs to be our approach with Chaz.
Yeah, but what if we'd have brought Chris Burke back, and because of him, we end up tanking the next 3 seasons, and we are just mired in this morass? yeah, it would suck, and we wouldn't talk about Chris Burke, or there would be this Astro like Jeff Bagwell in his Hall of Fame career that he's now sullied by being whatever it is that he is to Jim Crane. Jim and Rip.
Let's not speculate on what it is he is.
We're not that podcast either.
I wouldn't insinuate.
Yeah. It's just infuriating to
here's one thing
we mentioned the all-star, like the all-timers home run derby. We have kind of made fun of him at time. Did you watch Brian Bogusevic's performance in that thing?
No.
Oh my God. Like Bogusevic,
Monstrous?
dude. Oh yeah. It was
really.
Oh, dude, he was hitting tanks. I mean,
dude, that's that video of Jason Worth going and playing that beer league softball, and then he's just hitting the ball to the moon. Yeah. Bogey's built for old timer home run derby. That's great.
Yeah. So
and keep that dude hitting in the home run derby and get him out of the booth.
Yeah,
he reminds me of A-Rod, dude, and I'm like, I don't want to have our own A-Rod. I don't like that one bit.
No.
Nope.
So they asked Dana about Yainer Diaz's struggles at the plate, and here is what Dana had to say.
I don't think he's tired. I think he's more frustrated than anything else. He knows he's a better hitter, and he's not having the success. He knows he needs to get hot. And so I don't think he's tired. I just think ultimately, he's in a cold streak right now, and he needs to turn the dial. I think mostly he's frustrated, I'm sure. Been through those times where you're struggling and, you can't seem to find a hit, and then the balls that you hit hard don't fall, and, a home run robbed from him, things like that a few days ago. It's just tough. And so, you got to keep at it. It's a long season, and ultimately I think he'll turn it around for sure.
Here's my thing with Yainer. We saw Jeremy Pena's sophomore slump, and we saw what a year passed. I think Yainer last year, whatever, and I guess it could be, he whatever, but I think last year it looked too natural on him, right? Like he just it was everything was. I think Yainer's going to be okay. He may not be okay this year.
Also, this putrid season that we're all talking about from Yainer Diaz, he's hitting 253 with 3 home runs, 23 RBI.
Unacceptable. That guy could be our starting first baseman.
Yeah.
I mean, I would actually
he sucked, though. He was not good at first base last year. Remember, he dropped pickoff throws.
But I would love it because I get me Victor Caratini out behind the dish more often.
I'm gonna say that I called that one. I said Caratini was going to take Diaz's job, or at least he should.
Oh man, I wish I had clipped the video, except it would make us all weep openly here of the Urquidy injury. Dang, that took the wind out of my sails last Friday.
I love Jose Urquidy, man. Godspeed.
Watching him throw that warm-up pitch and then just look at his elbow right away. They sent him for second opinion. I can't imagine that's good.
I'm pretty sure his opinion of throwing and going, something happened there, it's all they really need.
Yeah.
So we're going to be down he and Javier. I will say I watched footage of LMJ's. He threw 2 bullpens this week, so they're starting to ramp him up. And he looked good.
Yep.
You know what 2 bullpens in a week makes me think? They're not bringing him back to start.
Oh, interesting.
Because that would not be your normal rest rhythm.
Yeah, and listen, like he, my big thing with LMJ last year was like, dude, you gotta dial it back. You're doing too much, man. Right? Not if he's a closer or an 8th inning guy, right? I will bring it all, right? I
want that craziness.
Yeah, and he might throw 104 miles an hour, right?
Like now, who knows? Espada may start him at shortstop, so don't take this to the bank. But I just thought it was weird. A starter normally wouldn't throw multiple bullpens in a week.
I like that. So we're getting LMJ and Garcia, and we're losing Urquidy and Javier.
Allegedly.
Garcia is slated to throw a live BP this week.
That's awesome.
Let him face
What
Brian
do they
Abreu.
have for pitchers in that PCL? Can we send Framber? Where Abreu just came from.
I don't know how that works. Maybe.
Yeah. He the problem with Framber is like one out of every four games you're going to get something just totally devastating.
He's a
but
head
you never
case.
know when head case Framber. It's not worth the risk at this point. We can't risk running out a head case, right?
But
so do you now?
Can't
are we
not
shopping
start
him?
somebody? So
yeah, we got to have somebody on the mound.
Loperfito's still hitting 290 in Sugarland, man. Sure hate to have that up in the.
Yep.
Let's look at some pitchers in Sugarland.
Like he left us. He was hitting 333. Home run, 5 RBIs, 39 at bats. Yeah, man. I'm glad we sent him back down.
Yeah, I hate to have that. And man, he was having fun. You saw him when he hit his home run, right? Like fist pumping the dugout. Like he's part of the team.
We do not have good starters on the farm, boys.
No, we don't.
We have
Misael Tamarez, 10 games started with a 6.70 ERA. AJ Bluebaugh, 4.24 ERA over 9 starts. Blair Henley, 4.78 over 9 starts. Ryan Gusto, 7.93 over 8 starts.
Fit in perfectly.
Yeah, I mean,
that is a good point. What's Blair Henley going to do? Give up more runs?
Yeah, right. You're going to lose ball games?
How is our pitching staff that bad?
My deal is like, why do we have 54 outfielders and 13 pitchers?
That is a good question.
Man.
And again, we got 60 1,000 outfielders, and we're just like making sure that Chaz gets his reps. Chaz.
Important baseball take. Is it just me, or does Sean Dubin look like he had a witch doctor shrink his head, but he somehow survived it?
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
It's just a tiny little head. I don't know. I just saw his name, so I thought
run a string through it and wear it around your neck.
I mean, except his whole body would be dangling from it because he's.
Oh my gosh.
Let's look at some outfielders here for the Astros. Pedro Leon has 10 bombs, 51 RBIs, hitting 276. Quincy Hamilton, 7 bombs, 16 RBIs. He's only hitting 240. Something called Cooper Hummel hitting 295 with 6 home runs, 21 RBI. So we are resplendent with outfielders.
Oh, yeah.
And here's my deal. Like, those guys probably aren't going to come up and make an impact right away, right? Like, they may need most of a season to do that, right? And to come up and get adjusted, right? So my deal is, like, if we're giving at-bats away, why not give them to someone who's going to be able to use them, like, for years? Because we don't want to be the platooning outfield team, right? Like, that's not part of our long-term goal to never have one that sticks.
There's no way
that
that's a sustainable way forward to win.
I agree with that. So we need to start wrapping up. My question is it time to put a fork in it? Is it done, or is there hope?
The division's bad. So, there's hope, but it's not hope that we...
Is there hope for playoff success this year?
No, because when you put us in the playoffs and we play the Yankees or the Guardians or the anybody
else,
we're toast.
Can you imagine this team? Well, we're going to see it in a couple weeks. This team as constructed against the Baltimore Orioles.
Bro.
Yeah.
And you know who runs the Baltimore Orioles, right?
Come on.
Former Jeff Lunau, understudy Mike Elias.
And it's not like he's not already prepping to make a show of us.
Which, by the way, that's like back to hire Luno. Like Elias is running Luno's playbook, and look at the Orioles.
Yeah.
And Luno's down in Mexico owning a soccer team.
Chaz for Mike Elias.
And Abreu. We'll throw in Abreu.
They get Chaz, we get their general manager?
Yep.
I'm in.
It's that kind of
Bagwell. Can we retroactively trade Bagwell?
Yep. Done. Who? To who? Who we get in return?
I mean, one of those hot dogs we had in St. Louis.
Dude. So Kevin, this hot dog, it was magic.
It was magic.
So typically, right, the instinct is I'm full, so after I finish this, I won't have much more, right? This hot dog, when you're full, and I know because like we powered through, like I'm like ate it, I'm full, I finished the hot dog. It spent the rest of the game destroying me. I look over, Aaron had one too. I look over Aaron about 20 minutes later. He's like sweating, right? Just like grumbling.
It's like a beautiful 70-degree day in St. Louis, and gosh,
dripping, just flop sweat. This hot dog was like, I will tell you when you're finished.
It was a bacon-wrapped quarter-pound all-beef Frank. It had baked beans on it. Crispy, like fried turkey onions, and then it had like this chipotle mayo on it. That was, it was special.
It was different.
It sounds wonderful.
Different.
I couldn't. When we went there, I like to buy souvenirs. I could not buy a Cardinal souvenir, so I settled on a T-shirt of Stan Musial, with no mention of the Cardinals, because I figured. You can be a fan. If you're a fan of baseball, Stan the Man is.
I will say this, though, like, and I haven't been to all of them, but they know baseball, dude. Like, St. Louis fans, like, we told them we were Astros fans, and they gave us what we deserved, but it's a great place to see a game, man. They know the game. They're respectful, and that place around the park is awesome.
Our mutual friend Chris Butler would respond and go, well, Chicago fans are the same way. And here's all I'll tell him. Maybe not where I sat. We sat in the big money seats right behind home plate. Like we were 10 rows off the field, got moved up to first row. It was a social event. There was nobody who knew baseball sitting around us. Now, I'm going to give Chris the nod that probably everywhere else in the stadium he's right, but not where we sat. It was an embarrassment.
Kansas City US Cellular was like a UFC cage, dude. Everywhere we went, like
we had to leave. We were out in the right field bleachers, and there was this fight broke out, and one dude threw his whole beer at another dude. I just look at Jason. I'm like, dude, how pissed are you to throw a $12 beer at somebody?
That's the truth.
Yes, it was wild. We
left early because we weren't sure we were safe.
Yep.
So anyway, well. We'll be back next week, and I hope that we have a better report. We should. I mean, we've got, like I said, the Twins are in third place in the Central. The Giants they're decent, aren't they? But I don't know.
We can lose to anybody.
We can lose to anybody, but we ought to be able to win against the Twins.
Third in the Central.
Cardinals,
the Twins are 31-25, where we're the opposite.
The American League Central is one of the better divisions in baseball. What's the Cardinals?
Who had that on their bingo card?
What's the one?
What's the Cardinals record in the NL Central?
Cardinals are 27-27, and they're second in the Central.
We know the Angels. What are the Giants?
The Giants are 29-28.
Okay, and so we've got. Then we know what Detroit and Chicago are. Okay, so Minnesota's good. St. Louis is average. The Angels are terrible. The Giants are average. The Tigers and the White Sox are bad.
The Tigers still have a better record than we do.
What I would say is, that's a low bar.
And what I'm saying to it.
If this team wants me to believe it's hype, they need a winning record out of this series.
And the White Sox have a worse record than us coming up.
Right, 100%. But what I'm saying is not playing by records. If this team wants me to believe what they say is true about them, then we need to win. We should win every one of these series.
Brother, I don't think they give a crap. Like that's the thing. Like I don't. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna keep doing. Yeah, we hope y'all keep.
I think the don't give a crap is higher up though. I think it's Espada and the coaches and the management.
Yeah.
Then fire him.
I think it's the guy. It's leaking into the clubhouse.
You know what I need? I need more Orbit. That's the only thing that can save this for me. Orbit has long been my favorite Astro.
I once again listen. I again celebrate TK, Blummer, and Julia because like it's easy to broadcast when you're going to the ALCS every year. They have not let up one bit, man. Best broadcast team in baseball.
You can hear sometimes TK is
working
like he's trying. But yeah, hat tip to the best booth in baseball. I think obviously Blummer is amazing and he was good when we had Ashby. For me, dude, TK is the secret sauce in that booth. He's like super subtly funny. Like he every once in a while just says something that undoes Blum, and it is.
He's every bit like like Bill Brown was the baseball guy. Like he just knew it, and he was so like his demeanor was great. TK's got that baseball thing right. Like his play-by-play is impeccable, but
his dad's one of the best broadcasters of all time.
Yeah. So he's been around it. Yeah.
It's but they're doing yeoman's work. It's been a long time since the Astros have been playing out a string. On that happy note, we thank you guys for tuning in wherever you're watching. Like, follow, subscribe, share, help us get the word out. We'll be back next week, hopefully with better news to report. Until then, it's the 24 Curveballs crew saying we hope you have a great week and go Astros.